Welcome to the Day Digital Finds episode 2. This is to cover the month of March. It's only the second one, so I'm still treading gently on here. In this episode, I'm going to look at 4 albums. They're all new releases, all released within the last couple of months, and they're all albums that I would recommend. And there are 2 bands, one from the States, the other from Scotland, and then 2 solo artists, both female, and they both are from the United Kingdom. So there will be a few announcements at the end as well. So I better get started, I guess. First of these new releases is When You See Yourself by Kings of Leon. Now, I have to confess, I have got a few of the albums by this band that was released way back, and I hardly recall ever listening to them. But in view of my decision this year to get more up to date, instead of just constantly going on about 1970, I felt I ought to do justice to this year's release. So this is what I'm doing. So I downloaded this album, Kings of Leon, an American rock band from Nashville in Tennessee, and they started in 1999. And they're basically a family band, 3 brothers and a cousin in the band. It has to be said that they became more popular in the United Kingdom after the release of their first album, and they had some minor success with singles, although it was completely unknown to me. And they also won a Brit Award in 2008. And the band members, as I say, Caleb Followill on guitar and lead vocals, Jared, his brother, on bass, Matthew on lead guitar vocals, and Nathan plays the drums. And so this new album appeared, and I gave it a decent listen to this album by Kings of Leon. It's their 8th offering. Quite a lot of music, really, and I have to confess I haven't really listened to any of it. But anyway, they're described as southern rock band with garage rock influences and a touch of the blues. I enjoyed this album. It was not any great surprises. They're a powerfully knit band. There's a mixture of tight rhythms, pretty guitar bursts, and some spacey harmonics on some of the tracks. A highlight, the Bandit, I enjoyed that track with some power guitar, and it's a much faster rock song. I heard a little bit of U2 on there. Golden Restless Age, very strong song, and probably the best on the album, and the drums and bass developing a very solid structure. And Fairy Tale, the final track, a polished ballad with strings and neat bass. They're a pretty tight rock band, let's be honest. No frills, no great surprises, but they obviously gel very nicely. And I think it's an album that I probably will listen to on the odd occasion. So give it a listen. It's the new album by Kings of Leon. It's called When You See Yourself. Next up is one of the 2 female solo artists, and some of you might know her. Prior to a month ago, I had never heard of this woman. I'm very pleased I have now. Her name is Celeste, and she's just released her debut album, Not Your Muse, in the last few weeks. She was born in 1994. She's her parents, her English mother married a Jamaican father, and they resided in America, California, for the first few years of her life. until she returned to the UK after the parents split up and resided in Dagenham. She's certainly a tremendous prospect. She was selected for the Rising Star Award in the 2019 at the Brit Awards, and it was anticipated that this album would be released last year, but COVID put the kibosh on that. Although one of her singles, and I think you may have heard this one, called "Stop This Flame," was selected to be the song for the Euro 2021 football tournament, and I'll be referring to that in a minute. She's got a tremendous voice, this girl. It's a bit of a cross between, well, it's a little bit of Aretha Franklin, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, and as I referred to, Amy Winehouse. She certainly can tackle a wide variety of genres, and apparently when she was young she listened to such notoriety as Thelonious Monk and Sun Ra. But how would we describe her music? Well, it's soul, retro soul, pop, funk, blues, traditional blues, jazz as well. I'm going to just refer to a few tracks that really hit me. The first track, Ideal Woman, with some nice acoustic guitar and a really sultry soul whisper, became a nice, sexy, smooth R&B club number. Track 2, Strange, very raspy vocals, a bit like Macy Grain, a childlike sort of feel to it, on top of piano and some lovely strings. Then the aforementioned Stop This Flame, which is a hugely addictive disco soul song with some jazz style piano leading it in, and she really does get into her powerful vocals. And then another track that I actually caught on YouTube, which I really love, is called Love Is Back, which is very Amy Winehouse. Close your eyes and you'll think it is Amy. It's got a punchy sort of R&B 50s style, and there's a bit of horns dabbled in. And I just want to point out that there are a few links in this description of her singing that song, Love Is Back, with a band, a young band, and there's an awesome sax solo on there, which reminded me of John Coltrane. And then there's another link I put to her appearance at the New Year Bash that Jules Holland has every year, where she sings a duet with Tom Jones. And there's also another link to another song she sang on the Jules Holland show. This girl is going to be a huge success. This album is going to sell in oodles, and she's got a great voice, and I really suggest you give her a chance and give this album a listen. It's called Not My Muse. Oh, sorry, I've got that wrong. Not Your Muse, and the artist is Celeste. Long time on Celeste, but she's worth it, really. It was an instantly appealing when I listened to that album, and I've listened to it now about 3 times already. Another one that I was instantly in love with was Flock by Jane Weaver. Jane comes out of Liverpool. She was born in 1972. She's an English singer-songwriter and guitar player. She did run a record label previously, and she's been around for some time, but again, I was unaware of this. This album is actually her 11th album, and she's got the sort of label of being into the rock pop genre, psychedelic rock, indie, and it's very much into synthesized music. This album was inspired by some Lebanese torch songs and some Russian acrobat records and a bit of Australian punk. And it's an exhilarating listen. The tracks, well, the early tracks are absolutely first class. Heart Low, where the guitar and synthesizers plus the soft vocals mix in a serene light way. It's almost 70s hippie style, harmonically psychedelic. Then the second track, the Revolution of Supervisions, sounds like an outtake from Tom Tom Club. Very funky, soaring vocals, again chunky guitars, and it goes on, states and phases, symphonic with shuffles into pop riffs which are reminiscent of an old single that I heard back in the 80s by John Congas, and the synths and the keyboards create a flow for Jane's seductive vocals. And I could go on and on and on, but this video will go on too long. Modern Reputation, track 5, reminded me of the electronics wizard in the 70s. His name was Terry Riley, very hypnotic. So there we are. Get to listen to it. It's Jane Weaver. The album is Flock, and it is very, very good. Last one, I was fortunate really that I spotted in very small writing the name Deacon Blue in the new releases section of All Music, a site that I visit very frequently, and I found out that they had released a new album this year called Riding on the Tide of Love, and I went a bit further and found an interview with the two protagonists, Ricky Ross and Lorraine McIntosh, and they discussed how they made an album last year called Tide of Love, sorry, A City of Love, and they had so much material that this album is a sort of bookends with that album. Now, if you don't know, Deacon Blue from Glasgow, they were formed in 1984. Their name stems from a Steely Dan song, Deacon Blues, and they debuted in 1987 with their album Raintown, which I bought, and it's possibly one of the best solid rock albums by any band. And I quickly became a fan of them. They had a huge success with their follow-up, When the World Knows Your Name, a number of chart-topping singles, Real Gone Kid, Wages Day, Fergus Sings the Blues, and I actually saw them live when they were promoting that. I saw them live when they were promoting their third album, which I also own, Fellow Hoodlums, which is, for me, an idyllic sort of a piece of rock music with a lot of sort of keyboards, but it's the vocals that are so telling on it. The combination of Ricky Ross and his wife, Lorraine McIntosh, they've actually been married since 1990, 30 years of marriage, still together in this band. And so it was a no-brainer, really, for me to get hold of Riding on the Tide of Love. They did quickly, they were reborn in 1999, after, I guess, a period of time where they had a family. And they have released a few albums since then, but they went off my radar, to be perfectly frank. But they're definitely back on it, and this Riding on the Tide of Love, they still dominate that marching type beat, but it's an idyllic sort of collection of songs, beautifully sung, mainly by Ricky, although Lorraine is also duetting on lead vocals on some of these tracks. Usually she was just confined to sort of supporting vocals. She Loved the Snow is a beautiful song with a great harmony, some lovely eerie violin mixed in with some spacious piano. Not Gonna Be That Girl, possibly the strongest cut on the album, with some lovely piano, and it enables that marching rock band sound, that beat to come in. And there's some very tasteful pepper style trumpets towards the back end. Starts as a ballad but ends with a swaying anthem. And then there's a few more tracks. I could go through the whole album, but the video's going on too long. But this band have been around the block. So although this is a new album for them, it's not a new band for me. They've always been a band that I've loved, and I've now got 2 more albums to get my teeth stuck into. And I really do suggest that you do the same. Riding on the Tide of Love by the Glasgow-based band Deacon Blue. Finished off a little bit with some information about other things that happened in March, newer variety things. I watched the David Byrne movie American Utopia. It's a concert film which was directed and produced by Spike Lee, and I found the whole concert, the whole night was breathtaking. It was a Broadway performance of the version of the album American Utopia, but also included a collection of songs from his back catalogue, his solo career, and of course with Talking Heads. It was particularly interesting to note that there was no electrical equipment on the stage. It was all wireless or portable equipment, and so they were able to be extremely mobile, all the members of this sort of troupe, and there was quite a few of them. I won't go through them, but about 10 members, and they went through such an amazing songs like I Don't Worry About the Government, I Know Sometimes a Man Is Wrong from Rhea Momo, Once in a Lifetime from Remain in Light, and Slippery People they did from Speak in Tongues. We also got a number of tracks from American Utopia, and they rounded it off with Road to Nowhere from Little Creatures and Burning Down the House. It was a fantastic, I think it was about 80 minutes. Get to watch it. Brilliant. David Byrne, American Utopia. Finally, a few singles that appeared, brand new singles. I subscribed on YouTube to Paul Weller, and he's delivered 3 pieces of music to preview his new album called Fat Pop, which comes out on May the 14th. Absolutely tremendous. Cosmic Fringes, which was is a rocky synth pop type song, and then he had 2 versions of Glad Times, one electric and one acoustic. So I can't really wait for that album to appear. And then also I got a preview of a song from the new Van Morrison album, which is also due out in May, and that was a real pleasure as well, and it's apparently going to be a double, so there's something else to look forward to. Okay, that concludes this Digital 2, 4 albums reviewed, a concert highlighted, and a couple of things to look forward to. Hope you've enjoyed it.